So we started systems, meaning two equations. We want to find the x and the y numbers that work in each equation. And so because we have this set up with x's, y's equal to a number, x's, y's equal to a number, elimination is actually the easiest way to solve this problem. And the way we are going to use elimination is we want to eliminate an x or a y. That means we want to get 0 on either the x or the y. So eliminate means we need 0. And so if we add our two equations together, so we've got a -4 and a +4. And that's what we need to get 0. So if I have the number 10, I would need a -10 to get 0. If I have the number -7, I would need +7. If I have the number 5, I would need -5 to get 0. So we need the same numbers, and then one of them must be positive and the other must be negative to be able to get us 0. So on this equation, we got -4 plus +4, that is 0. -2 plus 8 is 6y. -12 plus -24 is -36. And then we're going to divide out 6 on both sides. And really quickly, we found that y is -6. So now what we need to do is we need to plug it back into either the top for this equation here or this equation here. And so I like more positives than negatives, so I'm going to go with the bottom equation. So 4x plus 8, but now I'm not going to put y because I found that y is -6 equals -24, and I'm going to solve this equation. So we got -48, bring down my 4x, equals -24. So I add 48, and 4x is 24, positives. Divide the 4, and x is 6. And I could check my answers. I could plug my 6 in for x. I could plug my -6 in for y. And I could type this in my calculator, and it better get a -12 when it comes out. So I could plug in my 6 for x, plug in -6 for y, and when I type that in, I better get a -24. And sure enough, this one does work, and I do get those numbers. Yes, I'm sorry about the blurriness of this problem, but we got x minus y equals 11 and 2x plus y equals 19. So we got a 1 here, we got a 1 here, a 1 here. So if we look at this problem, to get 0, we need the same number. Well, 1 and 2 are not the same, but 1 and 1 are the same. And to get 0, we need one of them to be negative and one of them to be positive, which we have on this problem. So I don't have to do anything but add this up. I don't need to multiply anything because right away I'm going to get 0 with my y's. -1 plus 1 is 0. So my y's are gone. And 11 and 19 make 30. 1x and 2x make 3x. And really quickly, I found that x is 10. So now I'm going to plug it back in. I'm going to use the bottom equation again. So I'm going to have 2 parentheses 10 plus y equals 19. 2 times 10 is 20 plus y equals 19. So I'm going to minus 20, and y is -1. So we've got x is 10, y is -1. And I could check it. I could put 10 in for x and a -1 in for y. And sure enough, that's 11. I could put 10 in for x and -1 in for y. And they work in both equations. All right, with this example, we've got the same number, so that's a good thing. We need the same number, but one of them must be positive and one of them must be negative for us to get 0. So on this one, I can't just go ahead and add, but what I can do is I can change one of my negative 9s to be positive. If I change the sign on one of my terms, I have to change the signs on all of the terms in the equation. Every single term needs to change sign. So because they were all negative, now they're positive. If it was positive, I would have made it negative. So I changed the signs. Okay, so now, because I have positive 9 and negative 9, I can go ahead and add this to get 0. Negative 2 plus 4 makes 2x. And negative 25 and positive 23 make negative 2. So I found that x is negative 1. So now we're going to take that, plug it into either the top or the bottom equation. So let's go with the top this time. So I'll have negative 2, parentheses negative 1, minus 9y equals negative 25. So we've got 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2 minus 9y equals negative 25. Minus 2 minus 2. So negative 9y equals negative 27. Divide negative 9, divide negative 9. And y is negative 27 divided negative 9 is 3. So I could plug those back in, negative 1 and 3. Negative 1 and 3. It has to work in both equations or you didn't get it right. So my answer point is negative 1, 3. So if I graph these two equations, that's the point they have in common. That's the solution to both. So on this problem, we might have a situation where we don't have the same number here or here. We don't have the same number here or here. So on this problem, there's actually a few choices to make. If you notice this 3 and this 9, you can times 3 by 3 to get 9. So one of my choices could be to just multiply everything on the top by 3. And I'll show you why we can do that. So 3 times negative 3 is negative 9x. 3 times 7 is 21y. And 3 times negative 16 is negative 48. And then the bottom equation, I can just bring that down. So negative 9x plus 5y equals 16. So on this one, I have my 9s now. Now I have the same number, 9 and 9. That's a good thing. That's why I chose to multiply the 3 to each of my numbers, each of my terms. But what I need to do now is because I have both negative 9, that's not going to give me 0, so I need to change the sign on one of them. If I change one sign, I have to change all my signs on the equation. So now we can add this up. So positive 9, negative 9 is 0. A negative 21 plus 5 is a negative 16y. That's not a good color. So we got negative 16y equals positive 48 and 16 make 14, carry the 1, 64. And then I divide negative 16 on both sides. So y is going to be negative 4. Let me show you another way we could have done this. So if you didn't know that we could have times by 3, another way we could have done this is we could have taken the two numbers, so 9 and 3, and I could have flip-flopped, and I could have put 9 here and 3 here. It's another way to do it. I'm not going to actually go through and finish it, and then there's one more method we could have done is we got a 7 and we got a 5. I could have put the 5 up top and the 7 on bottom and multiplied those through. So any way you go there is going to get you the same number, which is what we want. We need the same number, one to be positive, one to be negative. All right, since we know that y is negative 4, I'm going to plug in negative 4 into one of my equations. So I pick the bottom. So we got negative 9x plus 5 times negative 4 equals 16. Here we got negative 20 equals 16. Negative 9x, so we add 20, add 20. So negative 9x equals 36. Divide negative 9, and x is going to equal negative 4. So our solution is negative 4 comma negative 4. That's the x and the y value that make these two equations work. So if I plug in negative 4, I plug in negative 4, it better give me negative 16. And again, if I plug in negative 4, plug in negative 4, on this one it better give me positive 16. And that's what it means to be a solution to both of the equations. So the last one, systems solving with elimination. So again, the first thing we need to look for is do we have the same number here, 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 or here? So the 3 is not the same as 5 and 2 is not the same as 5. So we don't have the same number. And with 3 and 5, there's nothing I can think of to multiply by. And 2 and 5, again, there's nothing I can multiply just one number by to get 5. So on here, we're going to have to flip-flop the two numbers. And I can either use 3 and 5 or 2 and 5. Well, I'm going to have 5 up top. If I use 2 and 5, I'll put 2 on the bottom. So I guess I'm going to use 2 and 5. So we got 15x minus 10y equals 10. And we got 10x minus 10y equals 20. So we're almost ready to add these up. However, because they're both negative, we need one of them to be positive to get 0. So I'm going to change this bottom one. That means I have to change the signs on everything else. And now I got a negative 10 and a positive 10. I can get 0. 15 plus negative 10 is positive 5. 10 plus negative 20 is negative 10. And I divide the 5. So x is negative 2. So I found x. Now I need to find y. So I'm gonna pick this top equation right here. So 3, I'm plugging in negative 2 minus 2y equals 2. So I'm going to multiply these together. I get negative 6 minus 2y equals 2. First thing I need is 0, so add 6 to both sides. And that's 8. And divide negative 2, and y is negative 4. So our solution is negative 2 comma negative 4. So if we plug in the x and the y, a negative 2 and a negative 4, it will work for both of the equations. And that's why it's the solution to the system.